really great to hear your own ideas being taken on by other candidates over a period of time. When it comes to multiculturalism, yes, of course, it's been an absolute disaster. Don't ask me, you just ask Trevor Phillips. David Cameron even made a speech about it, so has Angela Merkel. But the thing is that we are the only party who actually, political party, who actually wants to take action on it. As for having a national conversation about what we are, we don't need a national conversation. We, of all as a party, should know who we are. We know that British law should always be supreme. We know that we're one of the cradles of free speech. We know that we believe in equality, and we know our history. We do not need any more discussions, because the discussions that have happened over the past 50 years have ended up with people wanting to tear down Nelson's column. This kind of thing. We do not need that. That is what this party's mission has got to be. We have got to re-educate, if you like, and re-inspire the rest of the patriotic majority. No more need for mealy-mouthed talking. That's what we should be doing, and that's what we should be saying straight away.
Yeah, thank you. What Freddie said is absolutely true. The demographics of this country are changing beyond recognition, and they have been particularly since the year 2000. If you look at the school census, in primary schools, the number of non-white British people, that would include people like myself, has gone up from 20% in 2006 to 30% in 2016. So by 2036, the number of non-white British in primary schools is going to be 50%, much earlier than what Freddie said for the general population. Part of that is due to immigration, and we need to control our borders, and the Blair, Brown, Cameron, May machine has been brutally bad at doing that, but it's ingrained now in the birth rates, because in the migrant populations in the country are having much more children much more faster than the indigenous population. This is something that we need to start talking about, and we need to have a proper integration policy that doesn't just look about punishment if you don't integrate, but looks about positive things of getting people to understand what it is to be British.
Thank you, David. What's the integration policy?
I was
proper one.
part of it for the education section. Yeah.
I follow. Does anyone else want to answer other than Bill Etheridge?
I want to answer from Andrew.
I want to respond.
Andrew Bolton wants a quick right of reply.
Yes, please. If Peter spent 2 seconds looking at my background, he'd see that I've been working on these policies since probably about 2003 and have been advocating them globally. And if you want to talk about borders, have a look at the back of the leaflets that's on your sheets, see how effective I am.
Yeah.
Peter, for about two months, I have been advocating exactly these issues.
We've been talking, we've been doing
Thank
it
you,
for
thank you, that's more than enough. Henry, that's your speech. Thank you. Anyone else wants to take it up? I'm going to Bill take it up.
No, I'm going to take it up.
Bill, let Bill do it first.
Is that Jerry or Bill?
Thank you for that. We picked it up the first time. It's getting tired now.
Well, I keep on repeating it. Shouldn't be
Don't be
should
worried, David. Don't be
Ah,
Right, as JRE would say if he were here, David,
And you know this.
what he would say is that it sounds a lot like John Major's in the room. We're going to talk about British this, are we? Let's talk about warm beer and cricket greens. Let's not waste our time on this nonsense. What John would say is that our cultural values are strong enough that we don't have to bend the knee to anyone else's culture. Our culture reigns supreme in our country. And what John will do when he's the leader of this great party, what he will do is enable the membership through direct democracy to help set those policies, to ensure that we have a strong view on immigration, to make sure we have a sensible policy on the important integration that needs to come into this country, and maybe the membership probably won't want to waste their time wondering to themselves, pondering what it means to be British, because they already know, because we are British, and we don't need telling what it is by anyone else. So our values remain supreme, and with John's view of direct democracy, our membership will be setting the tone for this party and this country.
Thank you, David.
Well, we all know fine well what's been going on. We shouldn't have to start from here, but we have to. Most of the immigrant population live here now, do not want further immigration. What we've got to do is make sure that we get them on board. We need to educate people not to have multiple children, because otherwise they will not be wealthy, they will not be comfortable. In this country we had something that was called the Protestant work ethic, and that stopped people having massive families. And in doing that, we ended up with people being better off. Now, that's education. We need to educate people when they come to this country of the values of not having too many children. It's important. We must have no further immigration. We must cut this down to almost a zero, because that is the problem we've got. It's a strain on our social services and a strain on everything else. And everybody must, the one thing the whole country must agree to, we must all obey the law of the land. The Queen's law is the only law in this country. Not Sharia law, not any other sort of law. The Queen's law, and that
And this Hustings my law.
and like, as in Roman law, and as Roman citizens, I will obey the rule.
David. Perfect answer. New starter for 10, or something like that. If you couldn't vote for yourself and had to vote for one of the other candidates, put up your hand, who texted it to me? Put up your hand, you're allowed. Right, there he goes, I knew it was you. Which candidate would it be? If you had to vote for one other candidate, just one, who would it be? No waffle? Peter Whipple.
No waffle, Peter.
I haven't given it any thought.
You must. He hasn't given it any thought.
That's not why we're here.
All right. Alternatively, you can say you could vote for me for something. But, David Coburn. Will everyone be asked this one? Quick.
Well, it would be Bill Etheridge, but he's JRE.
Oh, right, you want to vote for both?
No, I vote for Nigel Farage.
Oh, that's right. So, spoiled ballot. Didn't answer. And you're not allowed to say JRE. If JRE would vote for somebody else who is standing off this lot, which one?
I haven't a clue.
Right. One clueless, one won't answer, one waffled. Give us a straight one. Jane. Jane Collins. Ah, well, Aidan.
In the last election, I voted for JRE, but this time, I wasn't standing then, but this time,
Yeah.
I would vote for Ben Walker.
Right. Okay, thank you. A straight answer.
If I was there and I had one, I would vote for Henry Bolton. I would be very happy to have him on my team.
Different question. Jane Collins.
I've got to say two.
out there.
I've got to say, I have to say Ben and I have to say David.
You want two?
Yeah.
Ben and David.
I want a team.
Which David? There's Davids all over the place.
No, David Coburn.
Coburn.
If
Right.
I can have a second vote, I'll vote for David too.
We are halving your importance. Not a candidate here. I've just checked the list. There's no one called no idea. Henry Bolton.
Robinson.
This isn't simply reciprocal, but David Curtin.
David Curtin. All right. Ben Walker.
Mine is reciprocal, and I would get on the rocket with Aidan, and we go off and mine the asteroid belt, no problem.
Yeah.
Is that a punt for being the science spoof?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Good. Let's have a new question here, and it's there's some very nasty ones here. That's just too bad. How will each candidate engage with youth members? Only take this up if you really have a new idea. We do not want to have answers which say direct democracy, please. David,
Well,
your 10th question.
That's a good answer coming up. Scotland has the highest ratio of youth kippers to old kippers, and that's because we attract them with our libertarian agenda. Young people love it. Universities love it. And if we push that, we'll get a lot more young people. And that's what we need, because they are the future.
What John would say is he's taken note of the example of the Libertarian Party of the United States of America, where in the last general election for presidency, they had a very little known candidate, and they got 15% of the votes of the young people in America for that candidate, because they were engaged with, through social media, through new platforms, through modern technology, and they were allowed to put forward their own policy ideas, their own views. They weren't being hidebound by the older generation, which, dare I say, maybe one or two of us on this panel might be. So that's what it was. You engage and you open up new means of communication that will make it exciting to younger people. And there's an example there. And JRE has seen that example, has learned from it, and it's one of the things that will be in the platforms so that we can get a really exciting youth movement really up and running within this party. and that will make a massive difference.
Aidan.
I think David Coburn is right about libertarianism, and as some of you will know, I am in favour of the legalisation of cannabis, not because I think it is a good thing, but because I think the criminal basis of it needs to have its legs cut away. And the point I'm making is that if you're going to appeal to a youth vote, you do have to do it in a concrete way. I was at Hustings in Yorkshire, where I also made a terrible mistake with my prepared speech, as I did today. I dug myself a hole by talking about my ideas for mining the asteroid belt for the entire speech. And by the end of it, I was really deep in that hole. And afterwards, the youngest person there came up to me and said, "You are going to get my vote. I've been on that rocket since I was 14 years old." So that is a second example of a concrete issue. Now, I also said that I thought there were terrible problems with direct democracy. Nonetheless, I also said I had voted for John. Actually, the reason for that was because I thought he would shake the party up. I think direct democracy in a measured quantity is a thing that will appeal to youth voters.
Thank you, and Jane Collins, and then Henry Bolt.
I think the best people to tell us how to appeal to young voters are the young independents themselves. And I don't feel that they're represented strongly enough within UKIP. They should be on the NEC, there should be representation on the NEC. I think myself, I would definitely have them on management committees and policy groups, because we need fresh, new ideas. So, you know, there's one way of getting people working for you and working with you, and that's having them join in. And I just don't think we include the younger people's opinion in UKIP enough. So we've just got to be a little bit more libertarian and make sure that young independence is represented throughout the whole structure of UKIP.
Thank you, Jane. And now we have, we have Henry Bolt.
Yeah.
Henry.
When I was running local government in Kosovo, I had to appoint the entire council, and I appointed 4 people from different ethnicities to work on the council. They were young people, and I empowered them to actually create, if you like, a youth movement, and they got involved in all manner of activities. That is something that I think we need to develop, and we need to make it fun for young people. In addition, I would appoint a spokesman for youth affairs, and I would have an advisory group for youth affairs supporting them. So they would be part of the shadow cabinet, if you like. And in addition, I would want a young person on each of the working in support of each of the portfolios. This is a recruitment base as well as an informing base. We need to fully involve all the generations of the party through the process and get the different perspectives to boost policy. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry. Marion, you have many left. Go.
I know. Well, social media is not something that I actually use a lot of myself, but we need to use it more, and we need our young people to do that. So we definitely need young independents on board, going through a strategy of how we can reach everyone on social media. And we do need to have representation on the NEC. On a new revised NEC, which of course we've already spoke about, we do need to have young independents represented on that. So it's not so much an age thing as getting everyone involved. Obviously we have more elderly people or older people in this party, so we need to encourage younger people to join. Another thing that's not necessarily for UKIP people, but when I was a candidate at times, a couple of times I went along to sixth form stroke college places to give a talk. I think that we should be having more of a strategy with that. We put together a good team of a couple of people, several of these teams, to go out to sixth forms, universities and schools, because unfortunately UKIP is not the flavour of the month in some of our education establishments.
Thank you, Marion.
I would like to see more of that.
Thank you, Marion. Now, I'm getting a few texts saying we should enter into the ending phase. Yes. Quick question here. On the first past the post, the winner is likely to get a rather smaller mandate than our last leader got. He only lasted weeks by some counts, months by the most generous ones. Why would it be different from you, for you? Anyone want to take that one up? Except David Coburn.
Oh.
You spent, right? He spent his stuff. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I think I've
Peter
walked on it.
Whittle. Peter Whittle.
It's a bit of an arcane question, really, but I think obviously we're all going to say we last a lot longer than that. But what I would say is I think the problem we had was that, and I think you'd be the first to admit this, Paul took the leadership out of a sense of duty, and he didn't really want to do it. And therefore, I'm afraid that that sort of affects every level, really, of the party. And he did it out of the very, very best reasons. What you have got to do, though, when you vote, it's all very well going on about structures and about what we do about young people in YI and all the rest of it. What you've really got to do is choose somebody who basically you can feel proud of, and choose somebody who can inspire you in some way. That is the crucial thing for a leader, and my God, we really need it now more than ever.
Thank you, Peter. I have had a follow-up text